It always starts the same way. She looks at you not for who you are, but for who she imagines you could be. You feel it in her eyes, right? That spark, that flicker. Is it hope or something else? Hunger, maybe. You think she's seeing you? Really seeing you, but she isn't. She's measuring you, testing you, scanning you like a blank canvas she's dying to fill. And here's the thing, the masterpiece she's painting. It's not you. It never was. Carl Jung warned about this, not with soft motivational pep talks, but with the kind of surgical precision that comes from decades spent staring into the human soul. He devoted his life to mapping the unconscious, the part of our minds that operates quietly, invisibly, beneath our awareness. And in that shadowy terrain, he uncovered something chilling about women. They don't fall in love with men. Not really. They fall in love with ideas of men, with projections, fantasies. Most of them don't even realize it. So when you think she's choosing you, what's really happening is she's choosing the version of you she created in her own mind, the character for her private story. And when you stop playing that role convincingly, she doesn't rewrite the story. She just casts a new actor. Jung called this projection the animus, the inner masculine image living inside every woman. And when it's immature, undeveloped, or unchecked, it turns into a tyrant. It's the invisible force that drives women toward dangerous men and away from good ones. That fuels arguments without reason, domination without wisdom, moral superiority without accountability. Jung didn't sugarcoat it. He described it as a form of spiritual possession, a state where a woman no longer acts from her own consciousness, but from the grip of her inner masculine fantasy. And men, you get caught in this because nobody ever taught you to see it. You confuse desire with understanding, affection with truth. You believe her when she says, "You're different." But really, you read just the latest face she has cast to play a role she has been rehearsing since childhood. When the fantasy collapses, when the mask slips, you're left hurt, confused, humiliated. And here's the hard truth. You didn't do anything wrong. You just stopped being a convincing actor in someone else's play. Jung said the only escape from this theater is through what he called individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming whole within yourself. But here's the uncomfortable reality. Most men never even start that journey. Society trains you to chase approval, seek validation, let women define your worth. And as long as you do, you'll keep playing the same role, getting replaced every time the audience tires of the act. Individuation isn't glamorous, it's brutal. It demands confronting the parts of yourself you've buried, the weak, the insecure, the broken. It forces you to stop blaming women for not seeing you and start seeing yourself. Because here's what Jung understood that most men never will. You don't become a man by being chosen. You become a man by choosing yourself. You don't earn worth through affection. You earn it by standing alone, fully awake, fully responsible, fully alive. A man who faces his own unconscious cannot be seduced by projection. He isn't a puppet in someone else's fantasy. He's the author of his own reality. And yet, the tragedy of modern men, isn't that they rejected it, that they willingly bend themselves to fit what they think will be accepted. We call it compromise, partnership, love. Jung called it self-betrayal. Men who ignore their psychic development become slaves to the feminine projection, molding themselves into shapes demanded by women who don't even know their own desires. You stop being a man and start wearing masks, smiling, agreeing, performing until you forget who you were underneath. And women? Oh, they sense this. They feel it more than you can imagine. The very behaviors you think will make her love you, obedience, predictability, availability, become the reason she loses interest. Jung explained that the feminine instinct isn't drawn to comfort. It's drawn to mystery, to risk, to the man she cannot fully define or control. Here's the paradox that keeps so many men trapped. You fear being alone more than being fake. You'd rather lose yourself than lose her. You'd rather live a role than face the terror of standing alone. Jung said that until a man embraces solitude, he cannot be free. Individuation is not for the faint-hearted, demands dying to the false versions of yourself so the real you can emerge. And make no mistake, it's lonely. Terrifyingly lonely. Walking this path, you start seeing truths you can't unsee, the games people play, the masks they wear, the lies they tell themselves to feel safe. When you try to share this, they mock you, they call you cold, arrogant, too serious. They accuse you of being the problem, but you're not, you're the mirror. And people hate mirrors when they show things they don't want to face. Jung saw this every day with his patients. People terrified of confronting their own shadows, the dark, rejected parts of themselves. Women, he warned, are often culturally rewarded for avoiding this confrontation. You're complete, emotional, intuitive, they're told, and left to live without challenging their inner animus, the masculine voice inside them that can speak with false certainty, false authority, and moral superiority. If they don't face it, it's projected onto every man they meet, blaming them for a battle they refuse to fight internally. And here you are, thinking you can be her savior, thinking you'll be the exception. You tell yourself, if I just love her hard enough, prove myself loud enough, she'll finally choose me for me. But projection isn't about effort. Jung called it a thief. It steals reality and replaces it with illusion. Until both people wake up, the cycle repeats. Blame, resentment, heartbreak, projection. The most ironic part, the woman who once saw you as her hero may one day see you as her enemy, not because you changed, but because you failed to fulfill the fantasy she cast on you. She won't even know she's doing it. Jung called this inevitable psychological betrayal. You didn't lie. You didn't betray her. You simply disappointed a character she invented in her unconscious mind. You were never him, and that's why she resents you not for what you did, but for failing to live up to a myth she never told you existed. Jung said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. Romantic relationships are a perfect storm of this. Both men and women enter them as walking projections, dragging fears, unmet needs, and childhood wounds into someone else's life. We call it love. Jung called it possession. And yet, here's the terrifying question most men never ask. What if I am the one responsible for this pattern? You want to blame women? To call them manipulative? Shallow? Deceptive? Jung would look you in the eye and ask, and why did you let yourself be chosen by that woman in the first place? The man who refuses to confront his own inner world becomes a slave to hers. You aren't a victim, you're a volunteer. You chose the role, because facing your own emptiness feels scarier than playing a part in someone else's fantasy. And here's where most people stop listening because the comfort ends and responsibility begins. Jung didn't offer easy steps to alpha male greatness. He offered the brutal, lifelong task of self-confrontation, sitting alone in the silence until the illusions crack, until the voice in your head saying, "You're nothing without her," begins to die, and that voice will fight, it will scream, "You need her, you are incomplete." But Jung whispers something more dangerous. The man who can stand without her, without approval, without applause, without being needed, that's the man who's free. Free from projection, free from performance, free from the tyranny of someone else's fantasy. And when you reach that place, you don't become cold or distant. You become real, grounded, fully alive in your own skin. Paradoxically, this is when women feel drawn to you not because you need them, but because you don't. You understand she's on her own journey. You can't do the work for her. You can only walk your own path so fearlessly that you reflect the truth to everyone brave enough to look. Most will turn away. A rare few will thank you. And that, my friend, is the difference between being loved for a role you play and being respected for the man you've become. And when you finally reach that point, when you stop performing and start being real you'll notice something strange. People around you, even those closest to you, will feel uncomfortable. They'll sense something's shifted, even if they can't put their finger on it. Your presence will have weight, an undeniable authenticity that unsettles the predictable patterns they rely on to feel safe. Jung observed this clearly. The individuated man, the one who has faced himself, is rarely welcomed by society. He's feared, misunderstood, labeled distant or arrogant, but really, he's just untouchable, unmanipulable, because he sees the game. And here's the funny part. The very people who used to crave your attention, validation, approval, they will start resenting you, especially women still possessed by their fantasies of the perfect man. They'll call you emotionally unavailable. They'll say you're cold, analytical, distant. But what they really mean is they can't control you anymore. You've stepped off the stage. You've stopped reading from their script. Without that script, they don't know what to do, because you're no longer a character, you're a man. Jung once joked that the gods had turned into diseases. The divine possession ancient culture spoke of as what modern psychology calls neurosis, and the men chasing validation today, they're the sickest of all. You think you're romantic when you say, "I'd do anything for her," or "She's my everything," but Jung would shake his head. What you call love is actually refusing to carry your own soul. It's easier to project it onto a woman and make her responsible for your hope, meaning, and purpose. And here's the brutal truth. When she realizes she was never designed to carry your soul, she will drop it. She has to because no woman, no matter how loving, can bear the weight of a man who refuses to hold himself. And when she drops it, you may feel betrayed. But that feeling, it's a gift. In that moment, the illusion collapses, and you finally face the reality. Becoming a man was never her responsibility, it was always yours. In that raw, terrifying moment, you have two options. You can blame her, you can turn bitter, join the chorus of men mocking women, swearing them off, pointing fingers. Or you can do what Jung demanded, turn inward. Begin the lonely, liberating, terrifying work of individuation. Become whole without needing someone else to complete you. Here's the reality most men ignore. The woman you think you're researching for is actually a reflection of the part of yourself you've abandoned. Until you face it, every relationship will be a performance, every connection transactional, every love a lie. But when you confront it, when you integrate your inner feminine, you become a man who doesn't chase women, you don't manipulate them, you don't perform, you stand still, fully rooted in yourself. And from that place, something miraculous happens. You start attracting women who want truth, not a character. And you'll know it when it happens. She won't demand performances. She won't try to mold you, control your script, or fall for a fantasy. She'll stand in front of you, raw and real. Not as a goddess seeking worship, but as a human being ready to walk her path alongside yours. No masks, no projections, no games. This is the difference between love born of need and love born of freedom. The first demands. It clings, it consumes. The second offers, it chooses, it liberates. It asks nothing and gives everything. Jung called this the rarest, most dangerous love, the love that exists only when both people have faced themselves. Most men will never see this. They quit too early, settle for performances, fantasies, temporary validation. They prefer the thrill of being seen as someone not because facing the truth of who they are feels unbearable. But if you have the courage, real gut-wrenching courage, will keep walking. You'll stand alone. You'll strip away every false layer built to earn approval. Eventually, you'll find yourself at the edge of something terrifyingly beautiful. You will find yourself, and when you do, women will no longer define your identity. They will no longer be the mirror you hold up to feel like a man. They'll become something entirely different. Partners, not prizes. Allies, not saviors. Mirrors, not mothers. And you'll love them not because you need them, but because you choose to. From a place of strength, wholeness, and unapologetic self-awareness. Jung didn't leave a map. He left a warning. Every man who refuses to confront himself becomes a slave to other people. As projections, especially the projections of women. But he also left a challenge. Embrace individuation. Stop blaming women for roles you willingly play. Stop seeking wholeness in someone else's eyes. Stop waiting to be chosen. Because the man who fully, relentlessly, unapologetically chooses himself cannot be seduced by fantasy, manipulated by performance, or reduced to a character in someone else's story. He becomes the author of his own life. And if you've made it this far, feeling this message somewhere deep inside, don't scroll away. Don't let it be another piece of content you consume and forget. Take a moment to like this video, share it with another man who needs this truth, and subscribe. Your support isn't just for us, it's for the next man trapped in illusion, waiting to be set free. One man at a time, we can wake the world up. Because here's another truth Jung made clear. Projection is a trap that enslaves men and women alike. Men fall for the fantasy. Women cast it, and until both sides face their shadows, the cycle repeats: pain, disappointment, blame. You weren't chosen to play the role of someone's fantasy. You volunteered, because it was easier than facing your own emptiness. The man who refuses to carry his own soul gives it away, unknowingly forcing someone else to bear it. And no matter how much she loves you, she cannot. No one can. Eventually, the illusion collapses, and the truth hits. You've been carrying shadows you refuse to confront. Here's what changes when you finally stop running from yourself. You stop trying to earn love through performance. You stop shaping yourself into whatever you think someone else wants. You stop performing, and you stand in your truth. And that's terrifying, but it's also liberating. Because freedom doesn't come from approval. Freedom comes from presence, from rootedness, from seeing through the game. And paradoxically, that's when attraction shifts. Not because you're cold, distant, or aloof, but because you're real, fully yourself. Boundaries intact, needs clear, inner life cultivated. Real women who've done their own work are drawn to that. Not the mask, not the performance, not the fantasy, but the man who stands in his own reality. And when you meet her, the real her, the one who has faced her shadow, confronted her animus, stripped away illusions, she won't need you to save her. She won't seduce you with the language of completion. She's whole. You're whole. And together, you can stand in truth. No masks, no scripts, no illusions. And here's what most men miss. This kind of love is rare, because most people quit before they get there. They settle for projection, fantasy, temporary validation, or someone else carrying the weight they refuse to bear themselves. But if you choose differently, if you face your fears, confront your shadows, walk the lonely path of individuation, you'll find that rare, liberating, terrifyingly beautiful connection. You'll love not because you need, but because you can. You'll choose, not perform, and you'll be free from projection, free from performance, free from the tyranny of fantasy. Now, let's be honest, this path isn't easy. Most men will never take it. It's terrifying to strip away every mask, to stop performing, to stand fully alone. Most would rather chase fantasies, chase validation, chase someone else's approval. But Jung taught that the moment you stop running, the moment you choose yourself fully, the entire game changes. You stop being a pawn in someone else's story. You stop being a character in her fantasy. You become the author of your own life. And when that happens, something extraordinary occurs. The women you attract are no longer looking for a role to fill. They're not seeking a savior or a hero. They're not projecting some fantasy onto you. They're looking for truth. And the truth is magnetic. It's not flashy. It doesn't demand applause. It doesn't bend or manipulate. It's simple, undeniable, and terrifyingly powerful. You stand in your reality, rooted, whole, awake. At first, it's lonely. Absolutely, brutally lonely. Most people can't handle a man who is fully himself, and they'll try to pull you back into the roles, games, and illusions you've left behind. Friends, family, society, and yes, even women will be uncomfortable. They'll call you distant, cold, arrogant. They'll accuse you of being selfish, unavailable, too serious. But the truth, they're reacting to your freedom. They're reacting to your refusal to perform, to be controlled, to fit into their fantasy. And that discomfort is necessary. It's the crucible. Jung would say it's the fire that forges the individuated man. Those who can withstand it, who continue to stand, who continue to confront themselves, become untouchable not in a distant or cruel way, but in a fully present, fully awake way. Here's the paradox. Once you're fully awake, women start responding differently. Not because you're chasing them, not because you're performing, not because you're giving them validation, but because you don't need them to define you. You've stopped living as a reflection of someone else's expectations. You've stopped being a puppet in the psychological play of others. And that kind of presence, that grounded, whole energy, is magnetic. It draws women who are also walking their own path, who have faced their shadows, who are whole themselves. And when you meet one of these women, the dynamic changes completely. There's no need for games, no need for projection, no need for performance. She won't try to mold you or control you. She won't seduce you with promises of completion. She stands before you whole, and you meet her as the man you've become whole, grounded, unapologetically real. This is what Jung would call the rarest, most dangerous kind of love. The love that isn't born of need. The love that asks nothing and offers everything. The love that exists only when two people have faced themselves, stripped away illusions, and met in the raw truth of who they are. It's a love that's impossible to fake. It can't be manipulated. It can't be controlled. It can only be lived. Most men will never experience this, because it requires courage, the kind of courage that doesn't come from reading a book or watching a video. It comes from doing the work. The lonely, terrifying, liberating work of facing yourself, facing your weaknesses, your fears, your insecurities, your shadows, doing the work that no one else can do for you, because if you don't, you'll keep repeating the same patterns, chasing, performing, projecting, and getting hurt. But if you do choose this path, something remarkable happens. You stop needing validation. You stop chasing approval. You stop seeking love as a way to fill emptiness inside. You begin to stand fully in your reality. And from that place, women stop being prizes, objects of validation, mirrors for your worth. They become partners, allies, equals in a shared journey. And the love you experience isn't desperate, needy, or conditional, it's free. And here's the ultimate lesson Jung left us. The work of becoming a man was never about pleasing anyone else. It was never about being chosen, about being desired, about fulfilling someone else's fantasy. It was always about becoming whole, yourself. The moment you realize that, the moment you stop seeking completion from others, you gain something nobody can take from you. Freedom. Freedom from projection. Freedom from performance. Freedom from the tyranny of fantasy. And when you reach that point, you'll notice something else. You'll see the patterns that used to trap you. You'll see the illusions others are living. You'll see the games, the masks, the lies, and instead of getting caught in them, you'll stand apart, grounded, clear, awake. And here's the irony. That clarity will unsettle people. It will make some resent you. It will make some uncomfortable. But it will also draw the right people toward you, rare, whole, conscious individuals who can meet you as you are. And that, ultimately, is the goal. Not conquest. Not performance. Not fantasy. Truth, presence, wholeness. So, if you've made it this far, and this message resonates with you, don't just scroll away. Don't let this be another video you consume and forget. Take a moment to like this video. Share it with another man who needs to hear this truth. Subscribe for more, because this work isn't just for you, it's for the next man trapped in projection, chasing validation, waiting to be freed. One man at a time, we can wake the world up. Remember this. Every relationship, every projection, every disappointment starts and ends with you. You are not a victim. You are not powerless. You are the actor, yes, but also the writer, the director, the producer of your life. Stop handing your soul to someone else to carry. Face your shadows, walk your path. Stand in your reality, and when you do, you'll experience something rare. You'll attract people who can meet you as you are. You'll build relationships that are real, not fantasies. You'll love not because you need, but because you choose. You'll finally understand what it means to live fully awake, fully responsible, fully alive. Carl Jung didn't leave you a map. He left you a warning and a challenge. The warning, ignore yourself, and you'll be enslaved by projections, by illusions, by fantasy. The challenge, face yourself, choose yourself, become whole. That is the path of individuation. That is the path to freedom. So stand, look at yourself, strip away the masks, face your fears, your shadows, your weaknesses. Become the man who cannot be manipulated by fantasy, seduced by performance, or defined by anyone else. Walk your path fearlessly, unapologetically, relentlessly. And in doing so, you'll finally discover the rarest, most dangerous, and most beautiful kind of love, the love born of freedom, truth, and wholeness. If this message hit you, take action now. Like the video, share it, subscribe. Not for us but for the next man who's still trapped in illusion, still performing, still waiting to be saved. Help him wake up, one man at a time, because the truth is simple. The journey to wholeness is yours alone. but the impact. It ripples. When you choose yourself fully, you inspire others to do the same. You break cycles, you set examples. You stop the chain of projection, illusion, and despair. You become the man Carl Jung imagined, awake, responsible, and free. And that, my friend, is everything.